I'm Rachel.
I'm Blake.
I'm Sadie.
And this is our story. We had been doing foster care for a couple of years when we were contacted by our pastor, who he had been contacted by the local police chief.
Basically been looking for help finding a home for somebody who was in need. And the person who was in need was Sadie, but we didn't know that at the time. We didn't have any idea who it was. And the reason we were contacted is because this person, Sadie, was 18 years old. And so she was looking on her own free will. She was an adult, legal adult, and she was looking for a safe place.
Yeah. Sadie, what did you think the first time you met them?
Well, everything was kind of just like a crazy day that day. So, like, I was emotional all over the place, and I was like, well, just give me a second. Like, this isn't how I usually act. Like, today's just been, like, the rough day. I was, like, overwhelming for the situation I was in, but I also, like, did not know what was coming for my future as well, so.
And over the course of weeks and months, Sadie became part of your family.
Oh, yeah. Originally, it was the police chief's perspective was she just needs somewhere to stay until she graduates. She just needs, she's going to school in the fall. She just needs to get through high school. She just needs to graduate. Her biggest fear was, what am I going to do, like, on Christmas break or holidays? Like, where do I belong? And, we just simply said, this doesn't have to be just until you graduate. This can be your forever home. So Blake had brought up, well, what if we adopted her? And I said, well, what do you mean adopt her? She's 18. You can't adopt an adult. And he's like, well, actually, you can. Like, I kind of just did a quick Google search, and you can adopt an adult. And so we talked to her about it and kind of left like, hey, this is where we're at. And, if this is something that you feel that you want, we would be honored and thrilled and would love it.
Because we'd always wanted to adopt a daughter. And then along came Sadie, and we had no idea that who our daughter was going to be. And so that's where all that started. And she is the daughter that we didn't know we were supposed to have. And so without even telling Rachel, I started researching, can we actually adopt her?
How did you feel the first time that you had that conversation about adoption?
Kind of the first time it got brought up was just like, leave it on the table. Like, here's this option that is available to you. Like, even though you're an adult, like, you still have the option to do this on your own or be a part of our family. So it was exciting and almost saddening at the same time, because I looked more at what my past life was of like a family that was just I had, and then one that actually like wanted me. So it was saddening at first, but to see like the beautiful future that I was given, it was truly exciting.
She just said, she goes, nobody's ever wanted me. She goes, I've never been wanted. Like, she had a hard time believing that we actually wanted her to be an official part of this family.
So you started down this path toward legalizing this adoption, and you found out that there were some roadblocks in the way. Tell me about that journey.
I had contacted our law firm here in town, and we went through the motions and talked about it. He's like, yeah, I can help you out with this, and so we had a meeting, gathered all the information, filled out all the paperwork that we needed to fill out, and then we had set an appointment on a certain day to go and finalize everything. And I think our meeting was at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I got a call at 2 o'clock. And he says, Blake, I got some news, and it's not news you're probably going to want to hear. Every way I've tried to figure this out, I can't work around part of the requirement with adult adoption that you guys don't quite fit into. So you're really not going to be able to do this. And I'm sorry, I've done everything I can at this point. The law prevents you from adopting Sadie because she did not live in our home prior to turning 18. I got nowhere. So I actually contacted a relative, Val Roush, and he was all excited about what we were doing. He says, well, I'll put you in contact with somebody, and that was in our dead end. And he said if it was a dead end to call him back. So I called him back, and he says, well, you can always change the law. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you can. Anyone can change the law. I'll put you in contact with Fred Deutsch, and hopefully the two of you can figure out how to best suit the needs of changing this law and get it done.
So that sent you on a journey through a lot of paperwork and I'm sure learning more about the law than you ever wanted to know. But this spring, Governor Noem signed a law that will make this possible. How does that feel?
Amazing, because really we didn't think that it was going to happen. We're like, oh, well, I know this doesn't necessarily change the way any of us feel about our relationship, but it's really frustrating that there's this one little catch, this one little hang up so the fact that we had gone through all of the votes and all of the processes to get it to become a bill that has passed, and then actually getting to go and have a signing ceremony. I think all the kids thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, how many people actually get to go do that? So.
Something that Governor Noem says a lot is that your story can change policy. And I think that that's really something that you guys have shown that is possible. You hit some roadblocks and some things and a law that you felt needed to be changed, and then you set out and made that possible. And I think that's a really incredible thing.
We never thought that this is where we just wanted her to be an official member of this family. We didn't realize the full impact of really what we were doing.
Yeah.
Like, this was just us. We just needed this for us, not realizing that this actually is a law for the entire state and how many people that could help.
Right. And we all know that family is a lot more than a last name. It's a lot more than a legality. But Sadie, how does it feel that soon you will be able to be an official legal part of this family?
I know this is my family, but to even have the last name just brings that stronger bond into knowing this is my family, and I'm proud to have this last name.
Yeah. So when you look down at a piece of paper and you see this new last name, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel the sense of belonging, because the last name that I've carried, it brings about a past that I never belonged to that family. So a lot of my school stuff right now, it still has that last name. So I have to just use it for legal reasons, because that's what I'm registered under. But recently, just with the legal documentation saying this is your last name, and then I just got my new driver's license that has it. So it's kind of oh, here I am, I'm proud to be me.
How does that make you feel as her legal parents? What kind of feelings does that invoke for you?
Oh, the day that we had the legal name change, and after we went outside, and she just kept staring at the papers that we had, and she just wrapped her arms around both of us, and just it's official. So it's official.
The sheer amount of joy was overwhelming, and it really, I think it's at times hard for Rachel and I to understand the true emotion that goes with some of the simple things that Sadie has shown joy over. It's sometimes I think Rachel and I take those things for granted, and they mean the world to her.
So this Christmas was the first one that Sadie was with us. And, at Christmas, you do it every year with your family. It's, again, one of the things that we took for granted. And our 10-year-old brought home ornaments for everybody that he had made from school. And he handed them out probably a week before Christmas, and she just sat there and stared at it. And she's like, she's like, thank you. She said, I've never had my own ornament. She said, I've never had an ornament for the tree. And it just blew me away because, that's just what I had always grown up with. And it's what my kids had always known. And it's just crazy that, it's little things that you take for granted.
What was the first time where you felt like you were part of the family?
Honestly, as soon as I came into the house, I was so welcome by just my brothers. They were just like, oh hi, I'm Tannen, I'm Kaden, I'm Jensen, and they just they would give me hugs, and they just want to talk to me and want to play with me, not knowing who this girl was. This is just a girl in the house, and they were just come do this with me, or read me this, or ever since I came into the house, I've there has always been a sense of being a part of a family. I had no idea that from just having bags of clothes to changing a law that was going to happen throughout my whole life.
What is the one thing that throughout this journey that you have learned or that you would want the people of South Dakota to know?
It was worth it. Every minute of every challenge, every cheer, and every tear of joy or sadness, every last bit of it has been worth it. There has also been somebody that's been in our corner the whole way, and we can't thank God enough for the strength and the courage, and all those moments when we questioned why this or why now, and he made it very clear that it was his timing, not ours.
Family is who God places with you. Family is what when God puts people together, whether that's through birth, through adoption, or any other type of relationship, that God brings you together because he knows this is the family that you're meant to have. Sadie was the missing part of our family that we didn't know we were missing. She was the missing piece.
Our perspective of our family has changed in the fact that we had no idea where we'd be today, and we wouldn't want it